In today's video, we talk about lenses again. But this time, however, we are going to focus on longer lenses, normal and long lenses. Hi guys, my name is Smid. I hold the highest photographic title of Master Qualified European Photographer. I've been organizing photography workshops and photo expeditions around the world for more than 13 years, and I am one of the 25 ambassadors of the legendary Carl ZEISS brand. I produce this channel with my colleagues Pavel and Martin, who travel with me on expeditions as lecturers. The category of mid-length lenses, often called normal lenses, is not exactly defined. Some people consider normal lenses to be from 35 to 70 mm. Some even consider the end to be around 100 mm. Personally, I tend to think that the end of the normal lenses is at 70 mm. I am particularly encouraged by the existence of the very popular 24 to 70 mm zoom lenses, a very useful combination of wide angle and mid-long range in one. I don't have any specific data, but I personally estimate that about 2/3 of beginner landscapers will get the 24 to 70 mm zoom at their first lens. It's a versatile range that has been popular for years. Almost every lens manufacturer offers this type of lens in two versions: the base aperture of f2.8 or f4. Here you can see the Sony 24 to 70 f2.8 lens from the G Master series, which represent the best that Sony can produce. If you are looking for one universal lens, the reasonable range to start with, then the 24 to 70 is a very good choice. With the f2.8 aperture, it's also suitable for nightscape photo projects. Especially beginner photographers tend to get one lens to shoot everything with. So the bigger the zoom range, the better. Ideally, a 16 to 800 mm. That's a joke, of course. But in general, let's try to avoid lenses with extreme zoom range. The quality is really only sufficient for basic photography, and we soon learn that such a lens limits us. Apart from the zoom lenses, the most common normal lens is the 50 mm. Not surprisingly, 50 mm is considered to be the focal length closest to the human eye. It's a lens popular not only among landscape photographers, but also portrait photographers, wedding photographers, and it's also suitable for macro photography. For this reason, we can find a large number of 50 mm lenses. Some are really cheap, plastic toys, I would say. Others stand out for their perfect sharpness and bokeh. It's common to find a basic aperture of f1.4, also 1.8 or 2.8. If you opt for fixed lenses instead of zooms, then a 50 mm lens should not be missed. I personally use the Loxia 50 mm f2. But the truth is that not all landscapers are enthusiastic about 50 mm lenses. The reason is the inability to achieve sharp foreground. Therefore, it is often necessary to choose focus bracketing. It means combining and blending multiple planes of focus. Long lenses. So when we say long lens, most landscapers think of a zoom in the 70 to 200 mm range. No wonder. this range is perfectly related to the already mentioned 24 to 70 mm zoom. So when I said that most landscapers start with a 24 to 70 mm lens, then I can add that they usually get a 70 to 200 zoom at their next lens. This lens is also produced by almost all lens manufacturers, and we can basically buy it in two versions, with an aperture of 2.8 or f4. The difference is obvious. The 2.8 lens is much bigger and heavier. On the other hand, it is one of the top lenses that the brand can produce. The f4 version is lighter, more compact. In terms of sharpness, it tends to be a bit softer than a 2.8 version. But you can't go wrong with either of these lenses. We have here the Sony 70 to 200 f2.8 G Master, so the same top of the range as the 24 to 70 mm. As you can see, it is indeed a big and heavy lens. On the other hand, the quality really doesn't disappoint. If you choose to use the zoom lens, you can basically get by with just two lenses, 24 to 70 and the 70 to 200. In the case of prime lenses, the choice is a bit more complicated, but most photographers go for the 85 mm focal length. Not only landscapers. It's a very popular focal length among portrait photographers who have this as the absolute basic and most used lens. In landscape photography, there is generally less use for long focal lengths than wide ones. I take this lens on expeditions depending on the destination we are going to. Based on my experience, in Madeira for example, I have no chance to shoot anything with this long lens. But on the contrary, it's very useful for compositions in the Dolomites or in Tuscany. Let's take a look on some photos taken with 85 mm lens. I said in the last video that it's very hard to make ultra-wide angle lens without defects and softness in the image. This is partially true of wide angle lenses as well. On the other hand, 50 or 85 mm lenses are much easier in terms of manufacturing and possible defects. That's why both 50 and especially 85 mm lenses can be bought from many manufacturers. My choice, surprisingly, was again the ZEISS brand and the Loxia 85 mm lens. However, in terms of image quality, it is the top, and again the same street size as the other Loxias. Apart from the 85 mm, we can find other prime lenses on the market with very close focal length. The closest is 90 mm lens, but these are mostly in macro version and therefore primarily intended for macro photographers. This is followed by the 100 mm focal length, and it's basically up to us whether we choose 85 or 100. The difference between them in terms of range is just minimal, especially for panoramic photography. In the portfolio of some manufacturers, we can also find 135 mm prime lenses. I used to have this lens, specifically the great ZEISS Melvus 135. But with the switch to mirrorless, I kept only 85 as my longest lens. With the Milvus 135, I took a rather unique panoramic photo in 2020. In the middle of the night, I shot not only the extraordinary noctilucent clouds over the historical center of Prague, but also with the comet Neowise. I shot the cityscape much less than the landscape, but this photo made me really happy. It has been already decorated interiors of several clients in big sizes. Personally, I have to say that the prime lenses, I used to carry almost everything ZEISS made into the field. Milvus and Lotus lines with focal lengths 18, 28, 35, 55, 85, 100 and 135. Unfortunately, after some time, I find out that no one would apply for the position of Sherpa to carry my bag. So with the switch to mirrorless, I have significantly reduced the number of lenses and their weight. The Luxia 21, 25, 50 and 85 fit in my pockets, and these 4 lenses are enough for me for 99% of the time. One of the memorable lenses in the Otus line is the Otus 100 f1.4. It is the last lens to be developed in the line, and it's evident. It is so sharp you could cut yourself on it. In April 2019, I was looking for a new view, a new perspective on a naturalist composition in Tuscany. After a long search, I finally succeeded. With Otus 100mm, I also managed to shoot one incredible sunset on a summer expedition to the Dolomites. Just before sunset, the clouds broke up just on the horizon, and we enjoyed almost 20 minutes of incredible red colors that went to almost purple tones. An amazing spectacle. Hello guys, we are back in Prague. We have a beautiful cityscape here, Prague Castle. And today we'll talk about normal lens and long lens. Let's start with normal lens. What does it mean, normal lens? So if you are talking about normal lens, the most common is 50mm. I have a ZEISS Luxia 50mm 2.0 aperture. And in general, 50mm lenses are very popular, for example, among portrait photographers. But they are less popular in landscape photography. Why? Because as we probably know, our composition should have 3 planes: foreground, midground and background. Only if we have 3 planes, we can achieve plasticity and 3D effect. With 50mm lens, we can have even closest foreground in our whole composition, but that foreground will be, I don't know, maybe 50 or 60% will be out of focus, it will be blurred. It's not really nice. So how to handle with that? We have just 2 options. The first option is to skip the foreground. So it means that in our composition will be only midground and background. But it doesn't work. We'll have no plasticity. We'll have no 3D effect. Okay, so another solution. We need to use so-called focus bracketing. It means that we will focus on several parts of our whole scene and then we'll blend it together in Photoshop, Capture One and whatever. Focus bracketing is quite simple if we are shooting single shots. If we are shooting panel photography, it's a bit more complicated. And so that's the reason why 50mm is not so popular. So shooting with long lenses. We have here the most common long lens. It's a 7200mm 2.8 aperture. It's the Sony version G Master, so the best that Sony produces. And the difference with shooting with long lenses is that we don't have the closest foreground in composition. So first of all, we need just only one focus, so we don't need focus bracketing. It's great. But as you can see, it's not very easy to find nice composition because everything is really compressed. We don't have foreground. It's very hard to find some background. So the panel photography for such a composition is probably the best solution. So we can have some detailed view of cityscape that we have here in Prague. And again, the final question. Do we need normal and long lenses for landscape photography? Absolutely yes. Their use may not be as common as wide-angle lenses, but we can definitely find compositions for them. And guys, that's all for today. We hope you enjoyed our video and give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And in the next video, we'll be talking about extreme long lenses. So see you next week.